What's that?
Did you want to sound on this
He
side?
told me to sound the same.
Okay.
Our instructions were one on
Oh,
each.
okay. Good morning, everybody. Are we ready? Okay. Okay, as yesterday, I'm going to read a prepared statement here and then open it up for some questions afterwards. First of all, thank you. I want to thank you all for coming here this morning. We're here today to provide a final press briefing regarding yesterday's incident at Fred Meyer, located at 101 Welshon Way in Richland. I will briefly recap yesterday's events and then answer questions after the statement. Before I begin, I would like to remind everyone that this is a large-scale investigation involving coordination with outside agencies. We are currently processing a volume of physical evidence and completing interviews, and information provided here should be considered preliminary. Investigators have determined Aaron Kelly entered the store yesterday using the north entrance at 11:01 a.m. He pushed a cart containing a duffel bag and a backpack into the store and then began walking the aisles of the store. Kelly encountered the first victim, Justin Crumbaugh, at 11:03. There was a 10 to 15 second interaction between Kelly and Crumbaugh. Kelly then produced a handgun and fatally shot Crumbaugh. The first report of shots fired in the store were received at 11:03 and 44 seconds. At that time, the Richland Police Department, along with our regional partner agencies and fire, responded to a report of an individual actively engaged in killing or attempting to kill community members in a populated area. As previously stated, our officers responded and immediately entered the building seeking to stop the threat. The two victims were located shortly after entry. Justin Crumbaugh was unfortunately deceased at the scene. Advanced life-saving measures were utilized by our officers on the surviving victim and then by Richland Fire, who transported the victim to a local hospital. Officers eventually determined that Kelly had fled the area. The Richland Police Department has been in contact with both victims' families and have offered our condolences and continuing support as the investigation goes forward. A comprehensive apprehension effort was organized yesterday to quickly bring Kelly into custody. With the help of the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force, Kelly was located and arrested in his vehicle near the Moses Lake area. Kelly was the lone occupant in the vehicle, and we have no evidence to indicate there are any other individuals involved with planning or carrying out this violent crime. Kelly invoked his rights and declined to speak with our investigators. Investigators have determined no link or relationship between Kelly and either of the victims to this point. Kelly does not have an extensive criminal history. His last contact with law enforcement in this area was in June of 2021. Kelly was booked into the Benton County Jail last night on suspicion of murder first degree and attempted murder first degree, with his first appearance pending. Acquaintances of Kelly have described his condition to investigators as being in decline over the last few weeks and months. He has been described as distancing himself from friends and family. The Richland Police Department is humbled and grateful for the support we receive from local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies, along with our partners at Richland Fire and other regional fire agencies. Our Regional Dispatch Center, CCOM, should be recognized for their extraordinary efforts yesterday in handling an event of this magnitude. I would also like to acknowledge our partnership with Fred Meyer Management during this incident. The Director of Corporate Affairs with Fred Meyer is here today to support us with our efforts. Again, there are no words to adequately express our sorrow for the victims and their families regarding this senseless act of violence resulting in the loss of innocent life. And I'd just like to add that the surviving victim is still in critical condition at the hospital, and the family would like his name withheld at this point for their privacy. Are there any questions?
Can you talk to us more about the actual arrest? You said it was near Moses Lake. Was it U.S. Marshals involved? Was it State Patrol at all?
It was the U.S. Marshals Service task force that apprehended the suspect.
And did they just spot his car? Were they following? Could you talk to that at all?
I can't speak to the events surrounding that, just that it was a result of an ongoing investigative effort.
Do you know if they found any weapons on him at the time?
We have not recovered the weapon yet. We still have, as I said, a large amount of the investigation to go through. We've recovered the vehicle and we'll be serving a search warrant on the vehicle.
Do you know if the victims and the assailant like knew each other, or is there any background there of whether they were familiar with each other than the prosecuting office's information this morning?
As I stated here, there's nothing that indicates to our investigators that there was any kind of relation between the suspect and our victims.
Do you have any information on the gun and the type of, and how many shots were fired and what type of gun was used?
It was a handgun. I don't have specifics on how many shots were fired.
Can you confirm he was a former Fred Meyer employee, or was he a current Fred Meyer employee, Aaron Kelly?
The suspect was not a current or former Fred Meyer employee. Any other questions?
Is there any more information about when Fred Meyer's will open, or how long the investigation at the store will go?
My understanding is that Fred Meyer is open today.
No,
It's not.
we are going to give the community some time to process this, and our associates as well. We're going to be in communication with the city to an appropriate time to reopen the store.
okay. Why, if the call came in at 11:03 and then the police arrived very shortly after, it seems as though the police and Kelly passed each other. Could you speak to that? Did he go out a different door than the arriving officers? I know there's many entrances.
So it's important to understand that when officers are responding to an active shooter type incident, our response changes. As we enter the building, the life priorities of the officers is well down here at the bottom. We enter the building and seek out the threat to identify gunfire, if there still is. When our officers went inside, they were under the impression that there still was gunfire. So the immediate cause of action is to stop the threat inside the store and stop the killing.
And so they were looking for the suspect, but they did not encounter him on his way out?
No, we didn't encounter the suspect on his way out.
Can you talk a little bit about it? You said he doesn't have much of a criminal history, but he was known to law enforcement. I think you said June 2021 was the last interaction. What was that like?
I can't speak to each encounter that he's had with law enforcement, but it's been low level, some informational reports and other nonviolent type crimes.
The past record, was he clear of those charges, or did that remain on his file?
I don't have information on that for you today. Anybody else?
Is he in good physical health at the Benton County Jail? There was no injuries or any other, like, no broken arms, nothing? He's in.
You're asking if Kelly is in good health? He was arrested yesterday without incident. All right. Thank you very much.
Ma'am, could we just get the clerk's item?
That's all right.
Yeah,
Sorry. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. We appreciate it.